Welcome to the Pastor Chira Show. I'm Pastor Chira, and today we launch. We launch into new territory. We launch into new mindset. We launch into new relationships. Are you ready to launch out? Come on and launch out with me as we go into this conversation on today. And can you tell I can't stop smiling because we have a new segment. And I'm excited about this segment. I don't know, but we're going to see, because this young lady right here, y'all have seen her, y'all have heard her. You know, she is the entrepreneur of entrepreneurs. She makes things happen in so many ways that no one else would ever think to do. And she's so creative and she is so inventive. She just invents and invents. And she reinvents herself all the time, not to try to do something else, but to always add to who she is and all that God has created her to be and to do. And you want to know who I'm talking about, don't you? I know you do. I know you want to know who I'm talking about. And who that is none other than the creator herself, the owner, the CEO, the operator of Open My Womb Ministries and Take Time to Build. I know y'all know who it is now. It is none other than the Pastor Wanza Leftwhich. Yay!
Hey there.
Hi. Why am I so excited? And you're like, okay, Chira.
Hey there. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Are you excited? Are you excited about what we're about to do?
I'm excited.
I know.
I'm excited. I'm speechless. Thank you for the warm welcome.
Listen, because it's a new part of you. It's not a new version of you. It's just a new part of you. It's another part of you, of bringing out all that you do and all that you add and all that you share with so many. Because when it comes down to it, Take Time to Build, Open My Womb, it's all about how we grow and build ourselves in order to be stable. Yikes.
Absolutely.
Yikes. But before we get into that, listen, I did an introduction of you, but you may have some things that you want to add that I didn't say. So can you just introduce yourself to the viewing audience on today?
Sure. I think you covered it all, but I am Wanza Leftwhich. I'm the founder of Open My Womb Ministries, where we help you take time to build your faith, your family, and your finances. I like to say that we help you defeat infertility in those areas, naturally, spiritually, financially. We tend to help you elevate your life through faith, with faith, by faith, and through the word of God. And so, yeah, that's what we do.
Listen, all day, every day, for years, it is your mantra and it is your motivation every day. And so I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited because you not only do Take Time to Build and Open My Womb, but there are so many other things that you have added to all of these conversations. And one of the things that we talked about, because you have a whole new website and a whole new show that you're doing, where Baking with Wanza, which I absolutely love. Why? Because I absolutely love to eat. And so but all of your creations, everything that you do is all about building yourself. And one of the pieces that you talked about is in the finances, right? But we have to have the faith to know that we can build our finances. It all starts with our faith first. And so in that, in, the take time to build mission goals that you have, the finance part, how does that speak, and how do you get to that finance part through the faith? Why is that so important to you?
It's so important because God wants all our entire lives to be well. A lot of times we focus spiritually and we want people to get saved, absolutely. But once people get saved and they're living this lifestyle, this Christian lifestyle, the kingdom lifestyle, they still have areas of their lives where they lack, right?
Hmm.
Specifically finances. And we are in the kingdom notoriously bad at finances, which I don't know why. Probably because we're not taught. I do know why. We're really not taught step by step how to build our finances along with our spiritual lives. You would think it came naturally, or it would be something that just that we do, but it's not like that. And I learned that personally a few years ago, where God just kind of stopped me in my tracks and was like, you need to take time to build
Hmm.
in this particular area. Oftentimes, those who are in church serving, we're faithful, we build. Um, we build in the church, we build inside of the four walls, we build in ministry and doing this that, and the other, but we often leave home lacking. We don't build our families, and we definitely don't build our finances the way we should. And so that's where take time to build comes from. It's a step-by-step process to get to the finances, as well as building a family along with ministry. And
Hmm.
so, how you mentioned the talents, how do we get there? We get to the money through the talents. The
Hmm.
Bible is clear about that, about multiplying your talents, multiplying your gifts, multiplying whatever is in your hand, whatever God gives you in your hand, you should multiply it. But unfortunately, we don't teach that enough. And if we do teach it, we don't teach it to the point where we let people know that it's okay to move slow and steady as you build.
And another point to that is that, it's about not taking from what God has given you to sustain you, but it really is to build in order to have that sustainability and the surplus, right? Because
Absolutely.
we're always supposed to have a surplus in order, because the sustaining is to do that. It is to help me sustain and maintain and continue to do and to be, right? But our
Right.
build is really supposed to be so that we have that extra, right? That surplus, that extra in order to go to, that we always have, so that we always do have savings, right? So that we
Right.
always do have what we need in order to pull from if there is an emergency. And again, we're not taught that. We're only taught, I love our churches, I love our ministries, I love us, I love us. But we're always taught, bring your tithes, bring your 10%. But if that 10% is cutting into what it takes in order to maintain my everyday, that's an uncomfortable place for me. That's an
It's a
uncomfortable
it's a
place for a
very
lot of people. Say that again.
it's a very yeah, it's a very uncomfortable place for a lot of people. And what I have learned, and I love that you brought this up, because I was sitting in Bible study one day, and my bishop, he was teaching and he's talking, and I asked a question. And so basically, what came to me is that when we do bring our tithe and our offering, right? God gives us ideas.
Yeah.
And we're taught one part. It's like a two-step process, or maybe even a three-step process.
Hmm.
It's like you give and you sow and you bring your tithe, but then God opens up an idea in your mind and your spirit. But we're not taught to go with the idea. We're not taught to build out the idea. And
Right.
so you can have the faith to give that 10%, even though that 10%, right? Like, I really need that to pay my light bill, but I'm gonna give this in faith according to principle, or according to increase, or according to et cetera, that we find in the word. But at the end of the day, how does that come back to you? Does it come back as a check in the mail? Most of the time it doesn't. Does it come back as the Pentecostal handshake? That's when somebody give you like a couple of bills in your hand and be
Right.
like, God bless you. Now it's modern day, it's Cash App, it's Zelle.
Right.
But most of the time it comes back as an idea. God
Hmm.
gives you an idea to increase the money that you do have already.
Right.
And so we have to teach people that when you get this idea, when you get Pastor Chira, I'm telling you, can we just talk?
Talk.
Can we really talk?
Yes, please.
So y'all, I'm just going to divert just for a second. When God gives you an idea, you have to be able to run with it. Like a lot of people are like, why are you baking now? I really don't know. It was in my spirit. That's my only real answer.
Right.
I just thought about baking bread and it would not leave me alone. So I decided to research baking bread. And now I'm baking cinnamon rolls. Now I'm making chocolate chip cookies. It's only been a couple of weeks, but it would not leave my spirit. Why wouldn't it leave my spirit? Maybe God placed it in my spirit. And instead of fighting it, let me see what I could do. And so everybody's like, are you going to sell it? Have no idea. I at this moment, I don't want to sell it. I just want to bake it and give it to people because Lord knows I don't need it.
Right.
But I'm just saying.
But it is good. But it is good.
Thank you. It's in my spirit to do, so I'm doing it. And I'm saying that to say this. Today, before we got on this here, I saw a woman that is going on, she is on tour, city to city. Ask me what she's selling.
Bread.
Macaroni salad.
Wait, what?
Macaroni salad and lemonade. And she is selling, she is on tour. Do you understand what I'm saying? She has a flyer. She has her picture. She has tour dates. She's going to different cities in the parking lot of malls and selling it from her Jeep in a cooler.
Macaroni salad?
Macaroni salad.
One kind or multiple? With or without tuna? I mean, I'm just saying, like.
Macaroni salad. And this is what I'm saying. Sometimes we'll give our 10%, we'll give our faith seed, we'll give all these offerings, and then be like, I give. I'm faithful, and nothing ever happens for me. But you got a journal full of 100 ideas. But
Right.
You think they're silly. You think they have no value. You think the one talent that you have can't multiply. But this lady is selling macaroni salad and lemonade. And I love it for her. So I'm not like picking at her or teasing.
No.
I think it's remarkable
Yes.
that she took the one thing that she was good at. Maybe she's good at more, but the one thing that hit and she ran with it. Like one of her tour stops was Milwaukee. Then she's going to Orlando next. Like then she's extending tour dates. Like this woman is not a musician or a preacher. She is making macaroni salad and going from city to city and selling it.
That's amazing.
They said, "Where do you think she's making a macaroni salad when she gets to the city?" I said, "She's probably doing it from an Airbnb." There is always a way to get things done if you start to take the time to build.
And that's what we got to do. We got to take the time, and we have to honestly see what God has put into us in order to manifest out of us. And a lot of times, you know what? It takes the faith, it takes the confidence in order for us to do that. So where does that come from? Where does that faith and that confidence come from?
The faith and the confidence comes from the word, because we are in a hyper emotional state, our country, people, social media, you have to depend on the word, because your feelings are going to be fickle. Today you may feel like doing something, tomorrow you may not. As a matter of fact, this morning you may feel like doing something, and by noon you don't want to do it anymore, you want to quit. So you have to depend on the word of the Lord. The word of the Lord will give you confidence. Reading his word daily, hearing his word daily gives you the confidence to keep moving and to keep building what God has placed in your spirit. A lot of times, okay, so I don't even want to go there, but
go there. I
know people want to be happy, right? And I believe that you should be happy. I believe that you should be fulfilled. And I believe that you should live a purpose-filled life. Mm-hmm. But oftentimes we stop because the feeling and the emotion is too great. Even the spiritual warfare. So I don't downplay anybody's struggle or
Yeah.
anybody's attempt to do something and then they fall back and don't do it. Because a lot of times it's spiritual warfare that's stopping you from doing it. Because if you do happen to go on tour with your macaroni salad, or you do happen to write the book or the song spirit, the enemy knows that you're going to be a change breaker, a
Yes.
generational change agent. You understand what I'm saying?
That's it.
Not just for yourself, but for generations to come. Now you're taking something, you're taking that idea that God placed in your spirit, and you're bringing it out into life. And then God is going to bless that and use that to change your life. The enemy does not want that. So you, as Christians, I'm talking to the believer. As a believer, you can't say that you're a believer and not lean on his word. The confidence has to come from God's word, not from you. Because again, we're in flesh and we may not feel like it. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But God's word. Faith comes by hearing the word of the Lord. You have to remind yourself that God opened Sarah's womb. God opened Rebecca's womb. God opened Hannah's womb. God opened Rachel's womb. You have to remember that the one with the one talent was called slothful and wicked because he went and hid it and didn't multiply it. And the one that had 5 and 10, they multiplied it and did better. So you have to use the word of the
And
Lord.
we're blessed. He blessed them.
And let me speak to those who got the 5 talents and the 10 who keep saying, I do too much, I do too much. Stop saying you do too much. You can handle it. If you could not handle it, he would not have given it to you. He gives us it according to our several abilities.
That's it.
God is always right.
God is always
so
right.
If you have 10 talents, if you have 10 ideas, if you got 10 businesses running back and forth, streamline them. Put them in a system, but you can handle it because that's what God gave to you. And the one who had more ended up with more.
Right.
The one who had more ended up with more, and the one who had less ended up with less. Figure that one out.
Because they didn't do anything. Because they didn't do anything. And so this is.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, go.
No, I was about to say, like, and then you have to watch the company that you keep, because sometimes people will tell you, oh, Pastor Chira, you need more balance in your life. Oh, Pastor Wanza, you need more balance in your life. You need to do this and you need to do that. But what you don't understand is, and I heard this from someone else, when there is balance, there is no focus. And when there is focus, there is no balance. So there are times in your life when you have to choose what you are doing with the time that you have and the productivity that you want to achieve. Don't let anyone tell you, like, you need to do this and do that, and they're not even producing half of what you're producing.
That's it. They don't even have the capacity to, no harm intended on anybody, but they don't have the capacity to even think in the ways that we think, right? Because that's not what God has given them. And so it does seem like a lot to somebody else because that's not your lot. That's not your capacity. That's not what he's given to you. And so you looking at me, trying to see what I'm doing and figure out how I'm doing all of this. I'm trying to tell you, like, it's not going to make sense to you. And it's not because it's not you. God didn't give it to you. He gave it to me. Right.
And this is why you can't compare. This is why you can't compare. And God gave me something a couple of months ago, and I'm actually writing about it. But he said it's past versus principles. He said a lot of times we follow people's paths, but we're not supposed to do that. We're supposed to follow the principles. Because we want to be carbon copies of someone else, but God did not make us that way. We're all original. We're all unique. We have different purposes. So we can't follow someone's path directly. We can follow the principles of their path, but not their path. And that's where we veer wrong. A lot of times, that's where we go wrong.
And you know what? And as leaders, we can get that wrong too, because we want to, a lot of times we want to make mini-me's, right? And it sometimes it's not even intentional. Sometimes it's, we're giving you what worked for us. So I truly do believe it's going to work for you. But I'm not you. And, the stand up in the I appreciate you giving me these tools in order for me to use.
Right.
But just because you give me a hammer to hammer on the nail, I might need it to pull something up, like to use, you know what I mean? To use the other
Right.
side. I need the hammer, but I don't need it in the way that you used it. I need it in the way that I need to use it.
And that's where the principle comes into play and not the carbon copy of what you did. I need
Right.
the principle behind why you did what you did.
Right.
And we're not teaching, this is why I did what I did. This is why I give 10%. You know, there's a debate. We don't have to give tithes anymore. We don't have to do this. But tithing is a principle of increase.
Yes. And
This is why.
Where did that debate come from? Like, where is this whole...
Because it's, you know, we're not under the law anymore. And tithing, some people say that tithing was in the Old Testament. It's a principle under the law, and we're not under the law, and you won't be cursed if you do not tithe. But tithing came before the law. So tithing is a principle. Mm-hmm. It's a principle to follow for increase. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like I gave an example. If you want to buy a house, most of the time people say, well, fix your credit, then go get an agent, do this, et cetera, et cetera. But I know people who never, not that they never fix their credit, but somebody gave them a house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Can you say that one more time for the people in the back? Somebody what?
Gave them a house. Gave them a house. Somebody gave them a house. I know someone... their parents passed away, and so there was enough money in the insurance that they were able to buy a house cash. Mm-hmm. So what you trying to say? My parents got to die in order for me to get a house cash? I don't want to follow that path. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
Behind what these people did. So what did they do? Oh, that person, she was a sower. That person was a tither. This person sold alms and gave this and did that. Follow the principles. Because the truth is, like, and I said this the other day, I said, I follow a certain person and did like exactly what they were doing, trying to do exactly what they were doing. And I'm like, Lord, this thing done fell apart. Right. It done fell apart. I ain't get the same results.
Right.
Because you're not her, baby.
Yeah.
You got to follow the principle. And so even as leaders, we have to be careful with that. We have to understand, like, we can give our advice. Yeah. We can give, this is what worked for me. But let me go one step further. Let me tell you why I did this. Because when I went and I prayed, God told me, go fix your credit. Or when I went and I prayed, God told me, go call Pastor Chira. That's the principle. You have a problem, go ask God for the solution. And God gives different answers to different people. He told Esther said, I'm going to go fast for 3 days. Naomi said, well, I'm going to leave my hometown and I'm going to hang out. Not Naomi. Ruth said, I'm going to leave my hometown and I'm hanging with you, Naomi. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's different areas. Mm-hmm. It's different areas. It's different.
But you know what I hear in that?
You know, go pray and ask God.
But that's what I hear. That's what I hear in what you're saying is that we have to hear God for ourselves. And that's the miss that a lot of people miss is that we're listening to people and we're not hearing God for ourselves. And when the person gives us something and God gives us something, we're trying to make it line up together. And it might not. It may not.
It may not.
It may not. And so so who are we going to follow? Say again?
You better follow God. You better follow God. And what I learned, and I missed this too, because influence is influential. Okay?
Yes.
Influence is influential, especially spiritual leaders. We depend on them. People depend on me. I'm now a spiritual leader. People depend on me. They live by my advice. So you have to be careful. I was having a conversation with one person. I said, we're going to talk about the pros and the cons. And I'm going to tell you what I think. And you're going to tell me what you think and how we feel. And we're going to even get into the Bible and et cetera, et cetera. I said, but at the end of the day, you're going to obey God.
Period.
Your decision may not benefit me, but you're going to obey God.
That's it. And it's not supposed.
Your decision may not.
Your decision is supposed to benefit you and your faith.
Right. And a lot of times we don't let people live out their faith. And you know why? Because we're so quick to, and I don't use this loosely, but we're so quick to judge. We're so quick to talk about people. We're
Mm-hmm.
so quick to say that this person, it didn't work out for them because obviously they must be in sin. That's like the man he was born blind. Who sinned? Jesus, who sinned that this man was born blind? Nobody sinned. The mother
Nobody.
and father didn't sin, but it's so that I can get the glory.
Yeah.
That's why you got to be in your word. There's so many things in the Bible that we consider in modern day a mishap. You mismanaged your money. You did this, you did that. But what did Joseph do? Joseph had a dream and got thrown in prison, got sold into slavery, thrown into prison, lied on. He had a dream that came from God that catapulted his life into misery for years. Joseph
and in the end, the dream came true.
And then the dream came true. But we will look at somebody's life and tell them, oh, you're doing the wrong thing. You must be sinning, or you must be not obeying God, or you must be, and I know that's not good grammar, but you must be not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And the truth of the matter, you could be doing everything that you were doing, but you told somebody a dream, and that conversation catapulted you into a life, into your destiny, but into years of misery before the destiny plays out.
Joe.
So we got to be careful. That's why the confidence for whatever you're doing, it has to be in the word. You got to look at Joseph's life, David's life, Daniel. He was smart. He was right there with the king, and they're going to throw him in the lion's den? What? What's happening?
Right. And we do. And that's where we are, because we do have to have that confidence. And that's what our conversations are going to be about. Our conversations are about cash confidence. We're going to have some cash confidence conversations, because we have to be confident about who we are, what God has
given you, what he has placed in your hand, and how it can be multiplied. The woman with the one thing of oil, she had oil. She had that oil when the husband was there. She had that oil when her husband died and they had to repast and they buried him. She had that same oil, but she did not know what to do with it. Once you get clarity, once you know what to do, once you get a word from the Lord, go clean houses, go sell cars, go make hair bowls and sell them.
Go make macaroni salad.
Go make macaroni salad. Go make room sprays. Go break bread, Wanza. It does not matter how silly it may sound or how much it's not you.
Yeah.
Because we get caught up there too. Oh, that's not me. I'm not doing that.
Right.
But you know how to do it. And you have, and it just burns me up. Like, I told this one girl, I said, well, why don't you go do hair? You know how to braid hair? I don't like doing that. I just do it for myself. But okay.
You're missing.
But you need how much?
Right.
How much money you need?
Mm-hmm.
And people need their hair done. Even if you're quote unquote not the best, right? Some people don't want the best. Some people just want the discount on the price. So if you could charge me $100 for the braids and I ain't got to go pay $5, and you do 5 heads and you got your $500 for the week, you understand what I'm saying? And I'm not saying be cheap, because God knows I done been cheap. I done been there. And your price is your price. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
But don't sell yourself short.
Don't sell yourself short, and don't dummy down the skill that's already in your hand.
That's it.
We're looking for other things because we want what other people have, but the thing is already in your hand. This lady is making macaroni salad and going on tour, city to city. Yo, when I saw that today, I said, we thinking too hard. We are thinking way too hard. We're thinking way too hard, and we're dismissing what's in our hand. Mm-hmm. We're thinking way too hard.
Way too hard.
And so these conversations is going to be about confidence in what God gave you. What God gave you to multiply. God gave you this. He is not mistaken. But I really want to do this. But maybe if you do this first, then you can be the real estate broker. Then you can be the investor. Then you can do this. You can do that.
Because it's a process.
People are like, well, why are you selling hair bows? Because it's paying my rent. And because I don't have to do my job, I can sit here and put the glue and put the tack and then mail out the hair bows.
That's it. That's it.
Because God told me to do it.
Because God told me. Yeah. And what God tells me, it will not fail, because God said it. And God's word, it
will not fail.
It will not return void.
It will not fail.
So it will manifest. It will. And we have to
It
have the
will. It has to.
confidence, we have to have the faith to know that this is what's going to happen. But there are those that need that encouragement, that inspiration, right? And just the I truly do believe and I know that God is going to he is going to use these conversations to help others in their process of becoming confident in the cash that God places in their hand to multiply, my God, today, to multiply so
To
that
multiply.
there will be no lack concerning them in any area of their life. And that's where we're going to. We have got to get to the place where there is no lack in any area of our life. And a lot of times it starts with our finances, which is attached to our faith. And so
Right.
I'm excited. I'm excited
So am I.
about these cash conversations of confidence that we are going to have so that there are no misses. There are no misses. We're going to talk about the management. We're going to talk about investment. We're going to talk about savings. And what's the other one? There's another S. We're going to talk about management, investment, savings, and spending. That part. How to spend and how to save. Because all of that ties in to these cash confident conversations. Are you excited?
I'm excited.
Because we want no misses. We don't want to miss it.
No
We don't want
misses.
no misses. No misses. Listen. So we're here. We're starting this new segment, and it is going to be a monthly segment for us in order to move into this next place in order to help others and ourselves, because it's going to encourage us to do what God has called us to do as well, because he has placed many talents and many things in both of our hands that must manifest. And so we're going to talk, we're going to have these confident conversations and we're going to be confident in one another, right? Because we have to, again, we have to inspire one another. We got to be there for one another in order to encourage one another so that we can get to the places that God has for the places that God has for us to go. Because it's many, because that tour is coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Yeah, it's coming. So, listen, I know you have a lot. You got Take Time to Build. You have your books. You have your manuscripts in order to help people. Your workbooks to help. Matter of fact, I still don't have my signed workbook. I'm just going to throw that out there. So you got your workbook. No. I gotta get my signed copy of my workbook. But your workbook and everything. And so how can people get in touch with you so that they can have these tools so that when we're having these conversations, they have something to go to that they can reference? How can they get in contact with you?
Sure, you can contact me. Well, I'm Wanza Leftwhich on all social media. You can Google me, but you can also go to my website, wanzaleftwhich.com, and it give you everything you need to do, everything you need, rather, or where you
Yes.
want to go. We'll take time to build and open our womb ministries,
Yes.
wanzaleftwhich.com.
And listen, and you want to bake. You want to bake. See, baking bread. I heard something so loud in baking bread, but we're going to have that conversation. Do you hear it? Because I hear it. Baking bread. Man shall not live by bread alone.
Let me tell you, but do you know my I don't know if you remember my first book, Sunday Morning?
Yes. Yes.
Do you remember the title of the second book?
No.
Flour ain't bread till you bake it.
Are you serious?
That's the name of the book. Yeah. And I never put it out. I never put it out, but see, God works. Like, I never put the book out, but now that I'm baking all of a sudden, and
It's coming
I never
back.
put the book out. It's been over 20 years, and I never put the second book out. And the third book is actually called Baking Bread. Go figure. I remember, you know how I remember? Because I keep all my journals from over the years, and my notes are in my journal.
So this whole baking
Yeah,
bread
so
that you're
I'm baking
doing
bread
is
and
going to
baking,
it's
and
going to
then the
tie
next book
into
gonna be
everything that
baking
you've
bread.
already done.
See, God knows the plans that He has for you. Plans of thoughts of good and not of evil to give you what? An expected end. The plans don't change.
Can you say that one more time? The
The plans don't
plans
change
don't change.
because He's giving you an expected end, the end that He already wrote. So the plans, they don't change. That's why every couple of years, if you find yourself going back to the same thing but with a different twist, is because it's still in the plan, and you just need to go ahead and do it because you can't run from it.
You can't run from the plan. The plan don't change.
Can't run from the plan.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing.
For your life.
And the plan won't go nowhere until it's completed. That plan has to be completed because there's another plan attached to the completion of that plan. So it's got to be completed. It has to be. Okay, we're out of time. We going overtime because this is what we do. Oh, I'm excited. I'm so excited. So listen, I need everyone to stay tuned in to what these conversations, what we're doing, and because I promise you, you will be encouraged, you will be inspired, you will be, so that all that the plans that God has for you manifest because He has plans. I know the plan God has for me. And that plan is connected to another plan. That's connected to another plan. But we got to start completing these plans. So we're going to have these cash confident conversations in order to help you to complete the plan. I'm Pastor Chira. That's Pastor Wanza. And we'll see you next time on our new segment, Cash Confident Conversations. See you next time.
In spite of all the things that I've been through, you held my hand and brought me right on through. Even though sometimes I fail you, you seem to understand. And now my life is forever in your hand. In spite of all the things that I've been through, you held my hand and brought me right on through. Oh, even though sometimes I fail you, you seem to understand. And now my life is forever in your hands. I'll say yes, Lord. It's to your will and to your way. Still yes, Lord. By faith I'll trust you every day. My soul